So my name is Markus Kriegler. I'm Senior Software and Support Engineer at Bressner Technology in Germany. Our main business is to develop Skype add-ons for Skype for Business, telephony, and we also have developed the complete solutions for on-premise installation for Skype for Business and also for the Cloud Connector edition from Microsoft to connect the PSTN to the cloud users to make them able to do PSTN calling with their own PSTN or zip trunk. So at first I will show you something about a company, what we are doing. So we have two divisions, industrial computing and unified communications. I am placed in the unified communications division. As I told before, we developed the phone comfort telephony suite, the UC box product family with including the on-premise and the CC connection. Telephone accessory, we have also on the programs ISDN, fax media, ISS7 carrier, fax CTI software. This is a more visible view of our product range in the unified communications group. So telephony PBX functions, I would say, bring into the Skype for Business environment because the forwarding, simuling, call pickup is not so usable in the Skype for Business installation natively. We have also add-on products, UC box, product family, CC, as I told before. We also have a busy light, this a presence indicator, which could be placed on monitor or for a call center on the cube, so other one can see your present state at the moment. We have ISDN, fax media, and yeah, S7 carrier. So we started with this product range, and in 2010 we have began to develop the Skype for Business add-ons. Former, you know, it's a Link 2010 environment. So we have more than one branch. The headquarters is in Germany. We have another branch in Great Britain, one in Czech Republic, and one in the United States. So for the moment, I think we should go into the introduction of the Cloud Connect edition. If you unpackage the machine, the first thing which you will see is a log on the system, and there are some small things to do. Let's start with the different presentation. So I would say we take the CCE. So this, you can see this is a one new rack mount system. The advantage of our box is all components are placed in a one U19-inch appliance. The Skype for Business Cloud Connect Edition is a set of packaged virtual machines. So at the end of the installation, you have 4 virtualized machines running on our host system on the CC Express box. There is a domain controller included in the machine, and you must be aware of that. All your users are logged on to Office 365 Skype Online, so the Active Directory has not to used as an log-on domain. Your audio with telephony remains local, so you have a local breakout for zip trunk or E1, BRI, whatever you need to outside connection. You need an Office 365 E3 plus Cloud PBX or E5, including Cloud PBX license for the users. And in this license, there is included the license for the CC Express box machines and the part of this small on-premise installation. So that's included in the E3 or E5 plan. We have different hardware types, so you can have the first one, and basic is up to 250 users, and advanced is 1,000 users, and the enterprise edition is up to 6,600 users. There is a picture where you can see the solution in 2 different parts. The left one is on-premise. What you have on-premise, the users are on-premise. The Cloud Connect is on-premise. Your existing PBX is as well an on-premise with the connection to your PSTN network. Maybe this is also with your gateway. So we have also our own virtualized SIP gateway, which will be delivered with the box. So I will show you later on. So you can use our solution to connect directly to a SIP trunk. If you use or if you have to use E1 or BRI, you need a second box in case you use our gateway to have the ports which are able to connect to the E1 or BRI. On the right side, you can see the OZ365 Skype for Business Online. Here, this is the cloud with your users. The Skype users are placed or hold on the OZ365 environment, and the cloud PBX function as well in the cloud. You should be aware there's, yeah, maybe that we can shorten this a little bit up. So what we do is a business, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say one thing. So just in terms of our audience, Marcus, we've got partners that are, what we say, very familiar with Office 365 and Skype for Business and so on. And we have some that maybe are not so. But if somebody is looking at the presentation now and is interested in Bressner, and okay, you have the Cloud Connector Edition box and all of the components are in there, the virtual machines and so on. Why should someone look at Bressner as opposed to some of the other products that are on the market? Because of course there are other Cloud Connector Edition solutions on the market. What would be some of the points?
So our solution will be delivered with pre-installed, preloaded Skype for Business bits. So it takes about, if you are familiar with all commands or for a PowerShell, you will have 1 hour only to download these Cloud Connector SFB bits to do around before you can start the installation. So this is done from us. So it's preloaded, pre-configured. So you save this 1 hour. Maybe if you are not so familiar, you need about 3 or 4 hours for these steps. So it's really quick installation for this Cloud Connector Edition. So it takes about 52 minutes to, if you have this installation, start our installer and have a running system. That's the advantage. So we are a gold certified partner of Microsoft. So we are independent software vendor. We can use a different Windows operating system license on top of the box. So you don't need an expensive what is the name for the expensive one license. So we have a cheaper license, and we have at the end of the installation no proprietary software on top of it to manage it. So you can manage it natively. So there are no additional fees for any administrator user interface or whatever. And we have the Funcom for Lite. It's the Funcom 4 tools for PBX functions. They will work with the O365 environment, and there are some licenses included in the package. So it's a cheap and really fast solution to have as Cloud Connector Edition for your offices, yes.
Okay, so basically we have, so on one side there are the features, on the other side there is what you say simplicity of the installation and so on, and the questions are already starting to come in. So let's say, for example, somebody also says specifically, if the Microsoft CCE is available from the Microsoft side, why should I take Bressner and not just download this and install it on a single server? We would then point to what you say, you would then point to the simplicity on all of the components being installed, or maybe you can expand on that again, because this is of course also what you say options that the partners are very familiar with.
Yes, you can do it, but you have to choose your own hardware for the integration, and we have specific hardware types for the requirements to meet which Microsoft want to have solved. So you get support from Microsoft. So we make sure that you have afterwards support from Microsoft if you run into troubles. So that's the point. So
Of course, you also have, as part of the support packages from Bressner, there is different support levels or different support packages. You have one support package which includes advanced replacement options and so on and so forth also. We have another question from the audience. Sorry if you just take that now. Does it support T38 fax cards?
No, for if you need this type of boards, you should use a different or a second box to use your gateway functionality. So as I told before, you can use our solution, which we will have a virtualized SIP gateway. So just a second, can you see this this remote desktop connection?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me try. Oops. So, okay. So, this is a remote desktop connection to our CC Express box, which is placed in our perimeter network for testing. And you can see the Hyper-V manager, and there is one machine is there already placed. So this is our gateway, and you can use that for a connection to directly SIP trunk. In case you have to use E1, BRI, whatever, fax ports and so on, you must choose a second box which will be able to host your boards in it, okay? But if you decide to use our solution, our gateway, we have different kind of boards. So we use usually Digium boards, and yeah, so it's not possible to put in a different board in our solution.
Okay, and that actually follows up, or what did you say, that leads us to another question. What types of PSTN connections does Bressner support? So in this case, what you say, if we're going to explain it in a simple setup, you have the box, connects to Office 365, you have SIP connectivity on the other side, and then depending on what the requirement is, let's say, for example, there is an analog setup that you want to connect to, then of course you could take your whatever your favorite box or gateway or card is, and unconnect that, for example, an FXS connection to the FXO ports, and then you have it speaking SIP on the other side. If you have a legacy system that is that's speaking, let's say, PRI E1, again, you can take your favorite box and put that in, let it speak SIP to the Bressner box on one side, and let it speak PRI E1 on the other side. So so in terms of PSTN connectivity options, we can say that if you add in what you say, that the necessary component and the necessary gateway, we can address or meet all what you say circumstances or scenarios. And I would say for this one here specifically, if anyone is in the audience who's what you say working on a particular scenario where you want to interconnect a legacy system, send us an email afterwards. If you are not in contact with somebody from Cytec already, send it to sales@cytec.ae. Anyway, you will receive an email after the webinar also, so you can reply to that. But just reach out to us. We'll help you design the solution. Of course, same thing. Even though you might be an end customer or end user attending this webinar, same thing applies. We have another question, just if we can take this one here. Can we do signaling like a call coming to my desk phone rather than soft phone?
What is a desk phone? Is this a Skype for Business phone, or is this our SIP telephone, whatever?
It's not specified, but maybe let's take the scenario of us just having a normal SIP phone. Let's say, what would we do in that scenario?
Yeah, is the SIP phone is connected to your existing PBX, okay? I guess. So it's not really easy. So if you use our gateway, which you can see here, it's a virtualized one. You can use that also as a registrar. So your conventional SIP phones can connect to our gateway. And we can do it with our software to have a SIM ring on the soft client and all as to the Skype for Business client, also to your desk phone. But if you have your desk phone connected to your PBX and you have this cloud connect edition, which is working with the O365 environment, so that's not really possible. So because you have to use a layer between that, and so you have to use a CTI part in that, and that could be run if you have a real on-premise installation of Skype for Business server. So you can have a connection between Skype for Business and Phone Comfort Professional and your standard SIP phone. So in this case, this would work, but with your existing PBX, where you have connected your SIP phone and will use the CCE for your PSTN breakout, it's not possible to have a SIM ring on both telephone types, so Skype for Business Client and your standard SIP phone, okay?
No problem. I think we can see here that the questions are actually starting to flood in. So I think before we take out any other questions, let's go back to the presentation,
just and then we will
revert. Yeah, and then we will revert back to the questions.
No problem. We can answer the questions at the end, or maybe if it's related directly to what you see, you can directly ask your question, and otherwise I would say, okay, let's talk about later on. So what to do if you have your UC box CCE out from the box and have connected it and have put on a monitor. It's placed in your perimeter network. The first thing what to do is to change the name of the machine to fit into your environment. So the next steps are to configure the network cards. So normally you must use here static IP addresses. We have pre-configured the naming of the network cards, because this is what the CCE installer expects to find. Okay. The next one, what you need is your Cloud Connector INI file. So this is output from a workshop with your customer, where you can see there should be the external SIP domain, the name of the virtual machine domain, the IP addresses as well, and you need your outside IP address, and you must put it into this INI file. Okay. The next thing what you need for installation is your public certificate. This should be completely, so you need usually a password for the installation. So that's so far the pre-installation steps for Cloud Connector edition for UC Box Express. And now you can see if you run our installer, he is asking you about the Cloud Connector INI file, okay? And he is asking you about certificate, yeah? And for as well the password for the certificate, you can check the password, so it's light in green, it's okay, and you can see the SAN entries in your certificate. So the most important things for installations, for successful installation of the Cloud Connector edition, is the Cloud Connector INI file and the certificate. It's really important. If there are trouble through the installation, there's always a mistake in the Cloud Connector INI file, or there is a certificate which it's not trusted by the OC65 environment. So be carefully if you make your request. Yeah.
Yeah, just a quick question. There are more questions, but we'll take them at the end. But just quickly, do we have a wizard to build the INI file, and can we use wildcard public certificates?
No, we have no wizard, because we suggest to our customers or solution providers, integrators, that they must do a workshop on the end customer side to clear what is needed, what will you have, what will you become, what's possible, which functions are possible in CCE with Cloud PBX, what is not possible, whatever. So we have no wizard for the INI file, because it's a work for the integrator to do the file within a workshop. And what was the second question?
Second was in regards to wildcard public certificates.
Yes, it's supported by Microsoft.
Thank you.
It's possible, yeah. So this is what I will show you on the real machine. So the next steps, I have made a screen capture of a real installation. So let's go to the screen capture. The advantage of the screen captures, we can go forward or reverse. So yeah, it's easy to show. So if you see it's the same what I told you before, you will open the installer. It's a really it's a tiny software, and you need your Cloud Connector INI file you need your certificate. You must put in your password for the certificate. Check the password as well. You will see the SAN entries, and now you can start the installation. So the first question would be the usage of the external certificate. Usually it's an Edge server, maybe it's a mediation server if you decide to have TLS between the mediation and the gateway. So now you can see the installer scripts will be started. And you can see through the installation you need an internet connection because he is using the Skype online connector to make a connection to your tenant. So it's not possible to do that without the internet connection. Okay. So there are, yes, a lot of things which are running in the background. But the most interesting thing that he will start to create the virtual machines. You can see here, so the first one is the Active Directory server to the DNS, entries, whatever. So there is a real installation of these machines. So I think I heard there are some attendees who are, they know the installation. So you have to put on your ISO file for a Windows operating system. You must convert this into a VHD file, and these steps are all done before. So it's not necessary for you to do it manually. So it's an advantage in time. Okay. So you can see the virtual machines will be created in the Hyper-V. Okay. There are a lot of configuration steps which are running. You can see the CPU usage is 10%, 12%. Okay, there are a lot steps in the background to because he is doing the installation of the Skype for Business environment. So he's installing the CMS animation server. He's installing the SQL databases on the machines, and that's all scripted in the background. So this installation usually takes about, you can see it in the tooltips, 43 minutes. He will assign your public certificate to the Edge server, to the different roles of the Edge server. You can see. So at the end, he is restarting the machines, and he will erase the network which is used for the internal communication between the different machines to do the remote installation. So it takes 49 minutes. So just a second, I will have exactly. So now the installation itself is finished. Okay, the next step is to give your users the possibility to use this Cloud Connect edition. So you must open, so you can check this with the Skype online connector. If the site, and oh, there was a mistake in the typing. So you will have a look on your tenant if the site was created successfully. You can see there's the new site 1, and you will also see the appliance, the PS10 appliance for your site. So you can see the registration status is registered and deployed, so that's finished. Okay, so this is the site here on the installation. Okay.
And we had a number of questions coming in regarding high availability. If somebody wants to deploy the Bressner box, what's the way forward for that?
For HA environment, you must use a second box, and you have to install it with the switch-HA, and this box will install the CCE completely automatically for HA. So just start the installer, say HA, and everything else will be done automatically. For HA, you need a second box for the complete environment. So yeah.
Yeah, and we had a number of questions also related to whether Bressner supports forking.
We only for clarification, in the O365 environment with the CCE, we all telephony functionality is related what's possible in the O365 Skype for Business environment. So we don't do the forking or whatever, so it's related to your O365. If you want to have call forking, simulring, whatever, we suggest to use an on-premise installation and a phone comfort server, so you can have simulring scenarios.
And actually that leads us to another question which also has been asked a number of times. If you can explain a little bit about the non-CCE edition of the Bressner box, or the one if you just want an on-premise full installation. Well, what if you can share a bit on that?
Yeah, so we have also a solution for the on-premise installation. So just I will jump into the Full Express, just a second. Okay. So now you can see, I think I will change, I will see, just a second. So just a second, these animations are not really useful at the moment. I will disable it. So, okay. So, it's the same hardware. So we have 3 different type of hardware for the CCE and also for the on-premise. So for both solutions, we have one with a basic box for 250 users, the advanced box for 1,000 users, and the enterprise edition is for about 6,600 users. So it's always the same hardware to keep it simple. So in the front we have the same overview of the company at the beginning. So we have a complete on-premise installation. We are installing a Skype for Business server in the standard edition. There is a complete automatic setup, so it will be error-free, no mistakes in typing in the IP addresses or FQDNs in the wrong way. We can also have a hybrid environment for the O365. We have also our phone comfort solution with this phone comfort server in this way. So we will install, you can see here, the Skype for Business front-end server. It's a complete front-end server. It's not this kind of front-end server which you have in the CCE. So the users will be log on in your internal Active Directory and will connect to your front-end servers which are also installed on-premise. So we have a phone comfort server, we have an Edge server, Skype for Business Edge server. We have a reverse proxy server included. We have also the UC Box Gateway as a virtualized version also in this solution. And we have the auto setup assistant. So this will all be installed complete automatically. There is a graphical wizard at the beginning who will ask you about which naming and which IP addresses and where is your external certificate. And if you start installation, the complete installation there is nearly zero touch installation. So a front-end server will be completely installed by itself. The edge server will be installed, and the reverse proxy will be installed automatically. We do the schema preparation, and this one we do the internal DNS entries that your clients will find the front-end server. We also make the DHCP options for your Skype for Business phones to connect to the front-end server. So this is a complete solution for an on-premise installation. So all components are in one new appliance. The gateway in a virtualized version is included. We have also included PhoneCom4 professional licenses, and this is the version of the PhoneCom4 solution, which is able to do a call pickup, call forking, SIM ring, and this chef-sec functionality, which is used or necessary for yes, successful business. So in the United States, there have complete different type and way to how they handle calls, but in Europe you need, for example, busy on busy, so hard busy on busy. So the Skype for Business solution will always answer each call. So there will be cost for the caller, but that they will receive a soft busy and have paid 10 seconds, but nobody answered the call. So we have a hard busy. So if the user is in a first call, a second call could be configured as a busy. So there is signaled to the outside network, to PSTN. So SIP message 600 busy everywhere. So he will be rejected from the beginning. So there's no cost. So there's a really busy on busy functionality. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Marcus. I was just going to ask one question. There's a question from the audience. Speaking of functionality and call handling and features and so on, what are the IVR features, or what's available in terms of IVR, both if we're looking at the Bressner CCE box and the non-CCE box?
IVR, okay. For IVR, the PhoneCom4 functions are not related to IVR, so you can use the on-premise features from a Skype for Business environment. So the response groups functionality, you can configure that as it could be nearly like a IVR. Our solution is more for the signaling part of Skype for Business, and the call handling to forward it, consultative or blind transfer, and make this really fast and easy to forward a call or to pick up a call and so on. But IVR, you should the RGS.
Okay. A couple of other questions related to just going back to the high availability setups. Yeah. Is it active or active-passive if we deploy HA?
This is active because the second box is always ready to take over the processing.
Okay, very good. That's very clear. A couple of follow-ups. Do we need to worry about the licenses for the Windows operating system when we are taking a Bressner box?
No. So usually Microsoft suggests to use a data center license for the CCE box, because there are 4 virtualized machines. So we are independent software vendor, and we have built and developed our installer, so we can use our Windows Server 2012 R2 telco embedded license, and all operating systems licenses are included in the box.
And then just that also follows another question here. So whether Hyper-V was used inside the hardware box, inside the Bressner box.
Pardon, the first part of this question was not clear for me.
So there was a question from the audience in regards to whether Hyper-V was used in the Bressner box.
Why this is used, or what do you mean?
Whether it is used. I think that's the question.
This is prerequisite. This is a requirement from Microsoft. So you must use the Hyper-V. There
So
are
the answer is yes. Yeah.
yeah. So that's only Hyper-V possible for a CCE. You can't use a VMware or whatever. That's not possible. It's not supported, and this will also technically not work. So it's because the CCE installation scripts is all written directly for Hyper-V environment.
Okay. Then we have another question. Just going back to the full version.
Yeah.
Why do you only need one static IP? Usually we're putting 3 IPs for edge
Yeah.
external
Yes.
and one for reverse proxy. Yeah, if you can.
This is a special feature from our solution. So our developers have spent a lot of time, and it was really hot driven brains, and we have the solution built with only one static IP address. That's right. Yeah.
Good.
But
And
I don't tell you how. But
no problem, no problem. Just a follow-up call in regards to the high availability. If you can just talk a little bit, so it's active, but if you can just describe a little bit on how will the call flow be, or how will that work in the Cloud Connect edition if we have high availability to active units?
Yes, it's active. It meaning that the two machines are up and running. So one of these two machines in the AJ environment are really active. So the voice is going through the mediation server. Not on both machines, so that's make no sense. So this will be slow up the complete flow. The first one in the HA environment is active, so the audio is going to the mediation server. The signaling is going over this machine, and in the case this one will fail, the second one will get a signal from the O365 environment, and the next call will go through the second HA machine. So they have some seconds to do the failover. This is yeah.
And then we have another question. So there's a question whether the solution is available in Oman. Yeah, absolutely it is. Another question is what is the licensing scheme? Are people charged per users, or what are the licenses needed for this installation? If somebody wants to take the UC box, what are the components to keep in mind license-wise?
I think this is a question to you, or sales perspective, because we sell the box as it is. It is a one-time payment. So if you want to do leasing or rent it or whatever, this is a decision from a CTEC. So I don't know.
So in terms of when it comes as the box itself as sold by vendor, that's it. You don't need any extra thing, and this is also what you say the normal, what you say go-to-market strategy. So it's very simple. It's very simple in that regard. We also have another question. If a reseller is new to what we say to Bressner, is it possible to get professional services to sort of start with at least with the first couple of installations to get some help? Can they purchase professional services, or how does that work?
Yes, no problem. So it's depend where is the help needed, and so if it's possible, because we are here placed in Germany, and if it's possible to have the remote session or to do telephone calls, whatever, it's easy for us. So if we must be to help you on site, we must discuss this, but in generally it's no problem.
We can see that there are a number of questions that are coming in regarding pricing and so on. There should already be in the chat box the contact email. Of course, if somebody is already in touch with a SciTech person, then of course they can always just reach out to them. But if not, we are putting in the email address again. So just in case somebody has any questions, or if there is anything afterwards that you think of, you can always reach out to our team via that general address. Just 2 seconds. Let me just go back here. just to say, I think we have more or less covered.
So for HA questions, so I have this slide which you should see. There is a sample, is a picture from Microsoft. So they have two boxes to have a HA environment. You must think about it that you also need two gateways. Yeah? So if you have a real high availability solutions, you need all items in double twice. Okay.
Okay, that's clear. We just had another question. If you could just go back to the screen capture that you showed regarding the installation and configuration. If you can go back to that screen capture and just see if you can mention a couple of the highlights there. Just go back to that screen capture. And
yes, it's running, so I think you should see it. So as I told you before, it takes about 1 hour to do the prerequisite software download and to the configuration and download and whatever. And this is pre-configured, pre-installed, so you can directly start installation through our wizard. This saves a lot of time. So if you're really good, and I have done a lot of these installations, it took for me 1 hour to do this. So to wait until the download is finished and to do the VHD conversion and whatever steps are needed, and this 1 hour is you have saved. You can do different things with your customer before, and you can directly go to start the installation of the UC-Box CC Express. And after the start of this, the most steps are completely automatically. So in our case, you have to wait until 50 minutes and the installation of the CC boxes are done. So you can spend the time for configure your users on the O365 to give them the ability with a telephone number to know for O365 environment, whereas the PSDN breakout, which appliance is to use if you have to more routings, whatever. Yeah, so this is a solution to make it really simple.
Yeah, so if we can just, what you say, look at that. So let's say somebody purchases the box now, completes the installation. It takes 50 or 45 minutes. What would then be the next steps that they just need to ensure then? The ones that you already mentioned there, but if you can just outline and then so it's very clear for everyone what any additional configuration would be needed just to get everything up and running.
So the next steps would be to go to your O365 admin center. Yeah. You must log on as an administrator for your O365 environment. Just a second. And you have to configure the licenses. So your user must have assigned the right license. So maybe just as example, this is one user which will use the PSDN telephony, so he needs the E3, or in this case it's a little bit more because we have out from our gold partner status and my certification from Microsoft, you have all of the possibilities in the O365 environment. So we can use the E3 and we have also E5 completely. And this one yes as well, yeah. And this license must be assigned to the user which will use telephony breakout, and you can see this here in the admin center of the Skype for Business. Just a second.
So the next step after that would be to ensure that whatever Office 365 users, you say, should have the rights to use PSTN breakout, you need to either have E3 plus Cloud PBX or going to the E5 setup. So this is very important as the next step.
So, and you must assign the PSTN, the telephone number, for this user, and you have also to have a look here, because I have uninstalled TCC at the moment, but we have the site and we have the was activated for the update, and here you will see the status of your appliance. Okay, that's the next step after the installation. Okay.
Okay, very good. I don't think we have any other questions for the moment. If there are any questions anyone wants to pose, then please don't hesitate to put them in the chat box. Do you have anything from your side else, Marcus? Because at least now it should be clear whether you are new to what you say to Skype for Business or Office 365. You have a very simple solution with Bressner. You do the installation. Do the installation, and you configure the Office 365 users afterwards. We have a question here: configuration of the SBC, so on the box for the zip trunk and so on. Well, what can you share on that?
Just a second. Let me think. What can I show you? Yes, it's basically it's a really simple task because the graphic user interface is a web user interface. It shows you like the control panel of the link environment. Just a second, I will have a look if maybe there is that I can connect to a different machine and have a look on the configuration. Just a second. So, okay, so now you should see the on the desktop. Can you see my web browser? Okay, that's great.
We do see it. Can you maximize it a little bit?
Okay, so it's better. So it is full screen for me. Okay, so this is the user interface for the configuration of our gateway. So you can see here is the network related things. There you can see which are global configuration set. This is for our German telephony outbreaks. So, and we have also in my test environment connected two zip phones directly registered to our gateway. You will have here your mediation server entries. Okay, if you decide to have a TLS connection, you must do it here. You can also have a LDAP connection for using the fax. You can configure dial plans. You have a normalization rules. You have the routing. Basically, you have the routing from the PSTN to the link environment and back. And administration tool diagnostic, for example, there you can see you have a green field if your mediation server is reachable. Yeah, that's so yes, the main things for our gateway. So the first thing would be to go here to network, change the host name for the gateway. change the NTP. Here is network related things. If you have this is have only one network interface card, so there is no network, no SBC functionality in this case. The gateway which is placed on the UC box have always two network interfaces configured, so there is a checkbox you can activate for SBC functionality. Yes, that's it. So change the host name. Maybe you can enter here for your normalization templates information. If you want, you can connect your zip phones, and here you can, as you can see, you can connect more than one mediation server if needed, but not for a CCE environment. And that's are the most important things, and you can directly connect. Okay.
We have a follow-up question here. Or what is available, or what's feasible or possible in terms of extension restrictions? What can be done in that regard?
Yeah, you can make in your normalization, for example, you can add phone numbers which will be rejected if they are calling into your company. Maybe, for example, in Germany we have the 0800 numbers which are really yes, junk calls or whatever, or to block them. That's no problem.
We have another question asking about, can you please go back to the public static IP slide that you previously discussed? So if you can just reiterate the thing with the public static IP configuration.
What, from Full Express or from the CCE, or?
Maybe we can cover both of them. Yeah, it isn't clear. It isn't clear in the question. But let's take the CCE. Let's take the CCE one first.
I'm not sure that we have our. So this is the slide where we have here requires only one static IP address. Yes, it's possible for a Full Express and as well for a CCE. Or what is the question?
Yeah, it wasn't clear. Maybe we can ask the attendee just to clarify this point. We do have what you say, the same point coming up, I think, for people joining us a little bit late. Just to reiterate on the point regarding what is the difference between Bressner CCE edition solution and other solutions on the market. Why should somebody look at Bressner compared to the other competitors on the market?
Okay, once more, we have a pre-installed, pre-configured solution to make it really fast and simple to do the installation for a Cloud Connector edition in this box. We have chosen these hardware types for a CCE solution because Microsoft has hardware requirements to meet this requirements. We've decided to use these different boxes. We have no different user interface or proprietary software on top of it, so there is no additional license fees for any administrator user interface or whatever. You can use it natively as it is, nearly as it is from Microsoft side. So yeah, so we have also a different Windows operating system license. We don't use the Data Center edition, which is really expensive. So we are independent software vendor and gold partner from Microsoft, and we have built up our own installation wizard. This is so we can use a different Windows operating license. It's a telco embedded edition, and the operating system licenses are not additionally one you must use. So this is really cheap in comparison to a different yeah, solution.
Excellent, very good. I think we're going to say thank you very much, Marcus, for this presentation. We've kept everyone on the line for about an hour. There were a number of questions related to pricing and availability and so on. We've already put in the chat box, of course, the email to which people can reach out if you're a first-time attendee. Some attendees, of course, are already in contact with the SciTech team members. There will also be an email that will be sent out after the end of the webinar. So if you have any question or anything, you can of course also just reply to that. But I think barring that, we're going to say thank you very much, Marcus, for the informative webinar, and thanks also to everyone who took the time out of their busy schedules to attend this webinar. And we look forward to seeing everyone back for future webinars.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Very good. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.